Most people think only one Transformer ever killed a Prime. That answer is wrong by a factor of 8. And the one everyone remembers, Megatron 1986, isn't even close to the worst on the list. 8 killers, 3 classes, 1 Prime nobody could save. By the end of this, you'll know which kill was actually a Hasbro sales meeting, which Prime died from a weapon she built for her own murderer, and which killer was hiding inside the franchise for 40 years before anyone noticed. Galvatron. Every Transformers fan knows Megatron killed Optimus Prime in 1986. Almost nobody remembers that 20 minutes later in the same film, a Matrix bearer died a second time. Whoever holds the matrix of leadership is, by the franchise's own rules, a Prime. That's the rule the franchise has held to for 40 years across every continuity it's ever produced. So when Optimus passed the Matrix to Ultra Magnus on his deathbed at Autobot City, Magnus became one. He wasn't a Prime by title. He was a Prime by canon. And on the planet of junk, Galvatron's sweeps shot Magnus apart, piece by piece, until Galvatron walked over to the wreckage and reached into his chest to take the Matrix out himself. This is the franchise's first Matrix-bearer murder, where the killer keeps the trophy. G1 Cartoon, 1986. The Junkians later reassembled Magnus's body. The Matrix passed to Hot Rod, who became Rodimus Prime, opened it, and used it to destroy Unicron from inside. Galvatron isn't a strategist. He's the only Prime killer in the franchise who tries to use the Matrix as a paperweight. A Matrix-bearer died on junk. The franchise pretended only Optimus did. But the death 20 minutes earlier is the one that broke a generation of children. Megatron. Battle of Autobot City 2005. Optimus arrives with the Dinobots and cuts down the Decepticon line in under a minute. Then Megatron meets him. Both are mortally wounded. Only one of them gets a death scene that became pop culture history. Optimus's final words, "Until that day, till all are one," are the most famous line in the franchise. But the death itself was not a story decision. It was a sales decision. Here is the production detail that reframes everything. Hasbro had already retired the 1984 toy line. Optimus, Ratchet, Prowl, Ironhide, Brawn, every original Autobot mold was being discontinued to clear shelf space for the 1986 product line. Rodimus, Coop, Blur, Galvatron, Ultra Magnus, new molds, higher price points, new chrome. Screenwriter Ron Friedman warned Hasbro the death would devastate children. Hasbro overruled him because they had committed to the new toys. The fan backlash drove Optimus's eventual resurrection in the Season 3 finale, The Return of Optimus Prime. Friedman titled his planned memoir, I Killed Optimus Prime. Megatron didn't earn the most famous kill in the franchise. A Hasbro retail meeting handed it to him. The most cried-over death in animation history was a shelf space decision. The franchise spent the next 25 years figuring out how to kill a Prime in a way that wasn't an accident of corporate scheduling. It eventually let Primes kill each other. The Fallen. Revenge of the Fallen, 2009. Egypt. Optimus, fused with Jetfire's parts, faces the franchise's title villain in person. Almost no fan calls this what it was. A Prime killing another Prime in a theatrical film. The Fallen's real name is Megatronus, the original betrayer of the 13. One of the founding Primes of all Cybertronian existence. The first being to ever kill another Prime in the franchise's deep mythology, and the second to last to die at one of their hands. Optimus punches through the Fallen's chest, rips out his face, crushes his spark. The score cue is titled, I Rise You Fall on Steve Jablonsky's official soundtrack. 2 years before Optimus would execute Sentinel Prime in Dark of the Moon, the franchise had already done a Prime-on-Prime kill on screen. Nobody noticed because the film was reviewed too badly for anyone to remember the lore. The Fallen survived 4 million years of exile from the 13, and got killed in 3 seconds by an Optimus with someone else's wings strapped on. The first theatrical Prime kill since 1986 happened in 2009. Most fans remember it as a fight scene. Optimus had killed an original Prime. 2 years later, he would execute one closer to home, Sentinel Prime. Dark of the Moon, 2011, Chicago. Sentinel Prime's plan has collapsed. Megatron has just attacked him from behind to save Optimus. Sentinel is on his knees, missing limbs. Sentinel was the greatest Autobot leader before Optimus, his mentor, the one who taught him everything. Sentinel begs, all I ever wanted was the survival of our race. You must see why I had to betray you. Optimus replies, you didn't betray me. You betrayed yourself. Then he picks up Megatron's fusion shotgun and executes Sentinel with a point-blank shot to the head. One small publishing note worth flagging. This was not the original ending. The 2011 novelization and the movie adaptation comic preserve an earlier draft where Optimus and Megatron form a truce after killing Sentinel together. After the novelization comic leaked early on Amazon, Bay reshot the ending so Optimus executes both. The cold execution scene the franchise treats as canon is the second version of a finale. Optimus is the only Prime in any continuity who has ever executed his own mentor with the gun that just killed his arch-enemy. The coldest line Peter Cullen ever delivered was the one written after Amazon spoiled the truce. Optimus killed Sentinel to save the war. 13 years later, another Cybertronian killed another Sentinel, and the kill exposed that Sentinel was never a Prime at all. D16, Atkins, Sentinel's Tower. D16, branded by Sentinel with Megatronus's face as torture, has the High Guard at his back and Sentinel cornered. Sentinel had ruled Cybertron for eons as a Prime. The film reveals he was never one. Alpha Trion had already shown D16 and Orion Pax the truth in the cave below Iacon. Sentinel was the Prime's aide. He betrayed them to the Quintessons. He personally killed Megatronus, Nexus Prime, and most of the 13 during the trap. He stole Megatronus's transformation cog and used it to fake Prime-tier power for 1,000,000 years. D16 grabs Sentinel with both hands and tears him in half. Sentinel's body aggressively depigments, turns corpse gray, in real time. The film established that true Primes do not turn gray when they die. The 13's corpses in the cave were still in their original colors after eons. Sentinel turning gray was the franchise's visual confession. He was never one of them. D16 reaches into the corpse, removes Megatronus's stolen cog, installs it in himself, and rechristens himself Megatron. The Decepticon insignia he forges next is Megatronus's face. D16 didn't kill a Prime. He killed the franchise's longest-running lie and built his entire identity from what was inside it. D16's kill wasn't a Prime kill. It was a fraud caught by his own corpse. D16 killed one false Prime in front of a city. The killer who came before him in the same film killed 12 real ones in a cave nobody ever saw. Sentinel. Long before D16 ever existed, Sentinel walked into a cave with the 13 Primes and walked out alone. The same Transformers 1 film that gave us the most graphic on-screen Prime kill in modern history also contains the largest mass murder of Primes in canon, and most viewers missed it. The Quintessons had trapped the Primes. Sentinel, their aide, not one of them, turned on them mid-ambush. He used Nexus Prime's own stolen blade. He personally beheaded Megatronus. He killed Nexus with his own weapon. The 13 died in a chamber under Iacon, and Sentinel walked their bodies into legend as their successor. Alpha Trion was the only survivor, and Sentinel hunted him for eons. Late in the film, after Arachnid captures Alpha Trion, Sentinel decapitates him on screen too. The film never lets the audience count, but the body count is staggering. Megatronus, Nexus Prime, Alpha Trion, and implied or shown, most of the rest of the 13. One killer. One film. 12 Prime kills the trailers never mentioned. Sentinel is the only Prime killer in the franchise who became a Prime because of what he did to them. The deadliest Prime killer in the franchise wore the title of his victims for 1,000,000 years. Sentinel killed Primes to take their power. The next killer on the list didn't want power. It wanted the end of everything. Unicron. IDW's first Transformers continuity ended in 2018 after 13 years and over 400 issues. It ended on a Prime's death. Every other killer on this list is Cybertronian. Unicron is not. The 2018 Unicron event miniseries, written by John Barber, drawn by Alex Milne, has Unicron physically eating planets across the galaxy on his way to Cybertron. Optimus Prime fights him directly. Optimus loses. The fatal wounds are received in Unicron issues 5 and 6. The mantle of Prime passes ambiguously. The IDW universe ends. The popular fan misconception is that Rodimus killed Optimus in IDW's final issue. He did not. Rodimus wasn't even in the room. The actual killer was the same entity who has been Cybertron's only true cosmic threat since 1986, and who, in this telling, finally won. Optimus Prime issue 25, the final issue of IDW Phase 1, is a funeral, not a death scene. Unicron is the only Prime killer who didn't have a personal grudge, didn't have a political motive, and didn't need a weapon. He just ate the planet the Prime was standing on. Every other killer on this list needed a reason. Unicron needed a meal. 8 killers. 7 of them had to want it. The 8th one, and the last one, was the only one who killed a Prime by accident with a weapon the Prime had built for him personally. Megatronus. Before Megatron, before Optimus, before Cybertron had a war or even a name. The first murder in the franchise's mythology happened between 2 of the 13. Megatronus loved Solus Prime. Solus Prime loved him back. She forged the Requiem blaster as a gift, the weapon strong enough to kill a god. Solus came to believe the blaster was too dangerous and demanded Megatronus destroy it. He refused. They argued. They fought. The blaster discharged during the struggle. Solus died in his arms. This is the franchise's original sin. The killing isn't recorded as murder in the Covenant of Primus, it's recorded as an accident. But the aligned continuity is unambiguous on the mechanism. The weapon that killed Solus Prime was the weapon Solus Prime built for the killer, with her own forge. The first Prime to die in Cybertronian history died on the wrong end of her own gift. Megatronus didn't fall from the 13 because he was evil. He fell because he was holding the gun his lover made him when it went off. The first Prime killed in franchise history died from a gift she made for her killer. 8 killers, 3 classes, and every one of them is the franchise admitting it has never figured out how to kill a Prime cleanly. Which killer on this list still owes the franchise a better death scene? Argue it out below.